when it goes the other way.
Libos.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
A little bit older than you.
I'm not touching this topic. I'm not touching it.
Yeah. Mediocre, mid-table, rabble.
So I just want to be able to talk as much
If we
crap.
play a night game, he has to turn the bloodlines on.
No one would have believed that he would keep his job for as long as he had. But
The Wednesday Week.
Oh, that was a good time to adjust your microphone, John. Thanks for that, pal. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week. My name's Dan Fudger. Tonight, joining me, I've got Ash, Stevie, and the microphone fiddler, John himself. We're here till 9 p.m. Welcomed live to the people out there. Is everybody all right? We're all having a good time. Don't forget, we're live, so you can join in on the comments. It's the close season. There's not a lot happening in the world of football. I'll not lie. It's a bit. It's a bit odd, isn't it? So what we're going to do is talk about some of the crap that is spouted online and some of the transfer rumours that's been happening. Ash, how are you? You all right? How was time off with the kids and all that? Did you have a week off?
No, mate. Don't have no time off. No, mate. Yeah, all good, mate. Yeah. I'm quite enjoying the bit of break on a Saturday. I don't know what to do with myself. You know, it's either I know what I'm doing. I'm going at home, or it's up early or night before going away. So to be home on a Saturday morning, I'm getting a right list of jobs to do. So yeah, loving it.
I bet you are. You know, do you remember that, Steve? Do you remember that Mickey Flanagan sketch where it was him trying to find out how to do old school fuck all and just constantly hiding from the missus? We've got to go out. We've got to purchase something. Whereas essentially what you want to do is sit in bed and turn it into a bit of a snow globe. How's your time off been? You're working in the education industry. You must have had a bit of time off, or do you have to work through those?
Time off? Are you joking? No, it's
13 weeks isn't enough. Eh?
Yeah, in it.
Here he is.
Now,
right,
John,
get me back to some sort of routine on Saturday that involves picking my daughter up and going and playing watching football, and I'll be a happy boy. There's
a weird one where I kind of like I haven't put a bet on either, and I feel like I'm missing out. Like, don't get me wrong, right? It's under complete control. I don't want to sound like I'm an absolute nutcase when it comes to it, but there's something about chucking a fiver on the accumulator and checking the odds and stuff like that, where I'm kind of like, I'm missing out a little bit. I'm feeling like I haven't paid my £5 stamp duty to Sky Bet like I do every Saturday. You know what I mean?
I'd say 40 quid this month.
Yeah, like just all this money I'm saving. Could have bought a Porsche or whatever the anecdote goes. What about you, John? You all right, son? How's it going, pal?
Yeah, going well. Yeah, we've missing football like the rest of you. Your routine. It's the match day experience, isn't it, that we all miss? That routine. It's not always just the football game itself. It's the pre-match stuff, isn't it? It's the having a pint with your pals, catching up. Sometimes stuff after the game as well. But we've got some. I think Euro starts, doesn't it, this Friday? So we've got a bit of football to bridge the gap between now and then, so we can all pull Southgate down, no doubt. So.
Euros is an interesting one. It's one of those tournaments where I'm like, bloody England. I'm not bothered. I can't be arsed. I've got no real affinity with any of the players that are in it. It's just international football's just there for people who support teams like Walsall to cheer and scream about it, or Premier League teams to cheer on their players. But then as soon as the first game starts, I am absolutely in. Like, you know what I mean? I'm that guy walking around just to random people in the street going, you are aware it's coming home, yeah? You know what I mean? I'm that guy. But listen, enough international break patter. We've got a few things to talk about this evening. And the first one, let's get right into it, is Will Vaulks. Now, he's been heavily linked to Oxford United, managed to secure promotion last season, going to be playing us this season. Stevie, story was broken by Darren Whitcoop on Twitter X, and apparently Will Vaulks is on his way there. What do you make of it?
We just talked about it off air, really, didn't we? It's come a little bit from left field, and it's a bit of a surprise to see it, given the plaudits that he managed to sort of gain last year with his performances after not starting the season in the greatest of form and being in and out of the side. I thought he'd acquitted himself really well from sort of Christmas onwards and became one of the more reliable players, the player that one of the players that Danny Rule would depend on. My belief with this is if we are willing to let a player who has put in the performances that he's put in this year or last season, and we are willing to allow him to go based on what the rumours are that he's not been offered the deal in terms of the contract length and the deal in terms of the playing times that he wanted, and he's been given sort of that heads up from the management, from the coaching staff, whoever that may be. It's both disappointing that we're losing a quality player and a really good bloke, because you look at all the things that he does off the pitch, but it's also kind of exciting. For me, it's kind of exciting, and I mean that with the greatest respect, because if he's going and our coach, that we put on a pedestal, is going to allow him to go, then there must be some irons in the fire that are pretty special.
Yeah, that is interesting. The fact that Will Vaulks isn't the bare minimum of where we should be looking. Ash, I'll come to you last on this one actually, because you might have a different opinion. What about you, John? So what Vaulks, I felt struggled to get into the season, especially under Chisco, and as Stevie rightly says, had a better increase in performances as the season went on. Where would you stand on it? Because I don't wish him any ill will as well. He's clearly a stand-up guy with his off the field stuff that he does, and if he can go somewhere else and get first team football at the same level, I kind of want to go. You know what? Fair play, son. Where do you stand with it?
Yeah, I think it's one of those where he's a bit of a fan favourite, Will Vaulks, because he's not only a really good footballer, but a really nice guy as well, like you were saying. And I don't know if recently there's been a recent shift in sort of contract policy with Wednesday, where they get, remember when Arsenal wouldn't offer players over 30-year-old more than a 1-year deal, and it makes you wonder if we sort of like know that these players 30 plus, we don't want to give them multi-year deals. Or like Stevie says, maybe we have got confidence that we are going to bring in better, which would be fantastic. Because if you bring in better than Will Vaulks, you're doing something right, aren't you? Because he was a fighter as much as anything. Because like I say, he lost his place as well in the side and fought his way back and deservedly got his place back. Was almost the hero of Wembley before Josh Windass became the hero of Wembley with the offside goal. I mean, that would have been a fitting way to end it. But yeah, if he's they're saying, if you're finding other deals elsewhere, 2 and 3 year deals when you're over 30 years of age in lower league football, then you can't begrudge him it, can you, really? So I'd be sad to see him go. But if at the same time, if we are willing to let him go, because we've got confidence of getting better in, then that's also really good and really promising. So
yeah, it's for him personally, it's kind of like a nice position for him to be in, isn't it? You know what I mean? He's gonna leave under not a fanfare. I don't know if that's the right word. He's not going to leave under a cloud from the club. We're not all going to go, see you later, good riddance, see you later. You know what I mean? I wish him all the best, and I wish him all the world. And if he gets a better deal somewhere else, then fair play. We know football's a cruel mistress. Now, Ash, before I get your opinion on it, what's Dem comments saying? What are people saying out there in the ether?
Scotch 24. Vaulks probably knows he will be down the pecking order. Excuse me. He will want first team football and a secure contract. I think everything you guys have just said, really, isn't it? If getting to that sort of age. Steve Bellamy. Would be a shame, but I think Danny will want to up the quality next season. Can't argue with that either. Obviously, I think it's going to be. J Blogs, it hurts to think Vaulksy would play against us.
Yeah, that would. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I watching Iorfa trying to deal with one of his big long throws or Bambo actually make my shit itch a little bit. Like I don't fancy it. Where do you stand on it, Smash?
So it's going to be hard because obviously I agree with everything everyone said, and we're putting our faith in Danny because we've lauded him, like Stevie says. Well,
he is the Messiah, right?
Yeah, we're sticking as faith in him. And what we're going to need 4 centre midfielders, probably. So we've got Bannon, we've got Palmer as well. So you're looking at getting two stroke 3 centre midfielders that are going to be of a higher quality than Vaulks. And I don't know. I can't imagine he's going to be on the biggest wages. I don't know, but But and so if you're thinking Danny's looking at that going, now I need to up the quality, like people have said, he's got to bring in 2 or 3. So he must be confident that the people, the scouting or anything, to be able to get rid of probably what quite a lot of people's player of the season, especially the second half of the season. First, I agree, he wasn't either getting the minutes or really doing anything for Cisco's tenure. It's you've got to trust it, Danny. You really have got to trust what he's doing, and I think for all it's going to be hard because there's going to be players in. If Danny stays for the next 2-3 years, there's going to be players next season or thing that are going to be really hard to obviously let go for a lot of the fans. Go on, Steve.
Am I right in thinking I might have missed this? The transfer window opens on the 14th. Is that right?
I've no
Or
idea. I don't honestly.
Yes.
I don't worry about it because we've been skint for a number of years now, and every now and again I'll be like, right, window's closed, it's not happening. And then all of a sudden we'll announce a player at 11 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, I don't know how it works anymore. I know there's a window. I know everybody gets excited about it and then slags it off at the same time on transfer deadline day, and then
Yeah.
there's a week, and then some more players come in on loan or something like that, I believe. And then some other teams take some of our players because they have a different window to us, and it's a whole thing. I don't know anymore.
I think
It's Friday.
I just think in the grand scheme of things, if you look at it, Friday becomes suddenly, if you want to look at it from that perspective, Friday might actually become something of a pivotal moment in our pre-season, in our plans. If all of a sudden, and I know that we've been tweeting off the socials that Fridays have been a bit of a day in terms of contract signings and things like that. A little bit quiet last week, but the last 2 Fridays have been decent. Rule coming in, Bannon, Palmer staying. We've had a week off. If this Friday we suddenly announce that we've got rid of fringe players or we've brought people in, it will show us that we've got some activity that's been going on that we've not been able to announce. I'm not suggesting that is what's going to happen, but it's almost, the door becomes open on Friday to see if we are actually anywhere, doesn't it? Because he's said that he wants to do his business early. So let's see what we've got.
I know, it's exciting. Isn't it? We've had a few comments about Danny, haven't we, Ash?
Yes, mate. Yeah, Jay, well, let's be fair. Danny is only going to strengthen the side regardless of who goes. A younger midfield with prospects would be a positive. Liam's on, and he says he's a fantastic player, but if we are trying to get in the top half of the season, we need more legs in the middle of the park.
Yeah. That's fair comment, isn't it? Because the engine room of the side is still over 30 years old, isn't it? Well over 30 years old in Bannon and over 30 in Vaulks as well. So, and even Palmer, who we all have an opinion on, is getting up there in age as well, isn't it? So,
it really, honestly, it still upsets me now. I've followed football for a long time, and I know I've done it myself in my 20s when I talk about players in their early 30s, like geriatric old men. You know what I mean? And then we're talking about people 10 years younger than us going, well, he's past it. He's old, isn't he? Bloody hell. He's a right mess. Have we got any more comments, Ash?
Ash Green, Friday feels like a brief cut-off. Danny on the telly, but also we're doing pre-season in Germany. Anything could happen.
Oh, you see, you could go flyering. You could go and stand outside the club and start flyering. Going, come on, do you want to?
I don't think Friday's the thing though, is it? Because Rotherham have signed 5-6 players already, and obviously the transfer officially it's not open. So you could have announced players, couldn't you? So I know probably the registration date is it probably registration date open from Friday. So I think I would hope in the next week that there's going to be some movement. So
Yeah, absolutely. There might be something happening. But I tell you what, one person that we've been talking about a lot, and there's been a lot of speculation. Go on, Ash. That was a big intake.
I was just going to say, quickly, quick fire. Would you keep or get rid? Vaulks.
Me?
Yeah.
I think we've probably done what we should have done with him. Offered him a bit of a short-term deal for a player of his age, and if he chooses to move on, then we're a business, right? And there's no room for sentiment. I think Will Vaulks is a top guy, and I think he's a quality player. But let's say, for example, Barry Bannon's our best player. For me, his level needs to be the bare minimum if we're going to go up this league. And I appreciate that that's going to take time. And I appreciate that, we're not going to get everybody better than Barry Bannon in through the door to make him over time the worst player. I understand that this takes time, but the transfer window is a good opportunity in which to start making moves in that pond. And I don't know if Will Vaulks fixing that. Go on, Steve.
It's just triggered something that one of you guys has just said about. I think it was you, Dan, talking about Iorfa defending his long throws. We've had 2.5, 3 years of Plan B, Plan C. Will Vaulks gets the ball and he launches it. If we're letting him go, there's going to be a different Plan B, isn't there? There's going to be a different approach. And when things aren't working, we can't rely on that long throw anymore. We can't rely on the little bit of shithousery that he has done, and he there's been little bits where he's broken play up quite well, and he is quite temperamental at times, but he has brought a different dynamic. I'd have probably, to answer Ash's question, I'd have probably been inclined to keep him, but fully understand based on the terms, and I'd have no argument with the terms that he'd been offered. But if he thinks he's worth more than that, then reluctantly we pat him on the back, shake his hand, and say, right, see you later.
Yeah, absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. Sorry, I got a bit of windy pops then. I had myself a shin cup earlier on. Have you had one of them? Have you had one of them? Have you had one?
Oh, what? Sorry.
They're like pot noodles, right? But they're in a cardboard pot, and they've got like the red with a load of Chinese writing on it, and they're called a shin cup. I think they've now been rebranded as a kabuchi cup or something like that. Absolutely banging. But I tell you what, when you burp, this microphone foam needs a wesh. Let's carry on. One player that we've been talking about a lot online since the expiration of his contract is Jan Perveda. Carlton Palmer's been on, of course he has, and he's passed his judgment on it, saying it would be best off making a return to Sheffield Wednesday this summer. Perveda, who's preparing to leave Ellen Road as his contract reaches expiration, spent second half of the season with the Owls, where he made 10 appearances and caught the eye with his performances. Ash, would you go for him? You wouldn't break the bank for him. I mean, you wouldn't, because I know what you're like, tight end duck's ass. But you know what I mean. Where do you sit with Jan Perveda? You don't want to get in a bidding war, right?
Of course, and there's going to be a lot of suitors for him. Obviously, it's a no-brainer. For me, I try and re-sign him, but the thing is, we're going to have the same conversation with Ugbo as well, and probably other players of, do we break the bank? We've been caught short too many times in the past, haven't we? With giving players probably what we think they should have got, or spending money on players that we really shouldn't have because they didn't turn out. I think what Perveda showed in his brief loan spell was that he has got that something that, X factor, hasn't he? He's going to get you up off your seat. We saw it a few times. I think I don't buy into this injury. He's injury prone. He had an injury, he came back, and I think we brought him back too soon. QPR, he limped back out, didn't he? And I think
it was a big fixture, and we tried hard to get him back into it, and we didn't really, he could have done with another couple of weeks off, but we couldn't afford to not try, right? And now he's at the summer, sort himself out.
Yeah, I think he'd be mad to not at least be in the conversation for him, because I think that sort of player is just what we need. I really do. I think he is that little magician that Bannon was 5 years ago. Not someone that's going to affect the game and turn it in an instant. And he's got quick feet. I quite like the way he played. To say he came in on the 5 to 11 on transfer deadline day in his leather jacket, and everyone was going, "Oh my God, we're scraping the barrel here." But hey,
and he was mint.
He had glimpses of being a really good player. So yeah, for me, I tried, but it would all be about wages. Obviously, it'll be a free transfer, and would you prefer that than laying out? I know we haven't got the money, 4 or 5 million for somebody to give him whatever real wages.
For me, he's settled as well. Like, I think he understands the club and he knows what we're like as fans, right? Ash made a really good point there. Like, he's putting some absolute banging performances. I wouldn't personally chuck a 3-year contract at him straight away. And I wonder if Danny's got that same concern. I don't think we've seen enough of him to garner a 3-year contract, if I'm honest. Like that article said, he's had 10 appearances and one of them he was crocked after 20 minutes. I feel like what we'll do, or what Chansiri would sensibly do, even though the fans will probably kick off about it, would give him a short-term deal. He'll probably go, I'm not taking that short-term deal. And somebody like West Brom will go, here's some money, here's a long-term deal, we'll sort it out. Kids played for Leeds, for God's sake, and then end up going somewhere like that. What do you think, John?
Yeah, it's got to be the right deal for us, like you said, Dan, hasn't it? I mean, I agree with Ash. I do like Poveda. It does get you on the edge of your seat. He is a player that's very attacking minded. Will run at defenders, which they hate, which all defenders hate. Looks like he got that creative spark to affect games, whether he's giving him last 10 minutes or whatever it may be. So I do like him, and I would like to see us bring him back, but the deal has got to be, of course, right. And I understand the trepidation of, here we go, we're all right now, we're going to make some signings. Here you go, 3 years, the place come back, 15 grand a week or whatever. Here you go, 3-year contract. So it's got to be right. And I think that's probably why he's not already signed. They might just be like, already made him an offer, and he's just like, well, I'll get back to you. I'll see what transpires in the rest of this window, and then see where it goes from there. So yeah, would I like to have him back? Absolutely. But yeah, I absolutely agree as well, though. It's got to be the right deal for Sheffield Wednesday.
We've had some comments about Poveda, haven't we, Ash? We've had some salient points from the folks.
Yeah, we've got Matt Strickland. Poveda could be worth something at the end of the season if we give him a 2-year contract and not fall into the Sean Bernard thing, where a short-term contract, and he's had a bit of a blinder. Sharman doesn't agree with me, because I didn't think he is that, but Poveda would be great, but he's prone to getting knacked. Peter Holmes, any player like Poveda is bound to excite. He's your stereotypical edge-of-your-seat player. However, cheese hamstrings make him a questionable purchase, in his opinion.
Cheese hamstrings. I've heard made of Lego. Yeah, I've heard made of Lego. I've heard Rivitaris. I've not heard cheese hamstrings before.
Mad Ward would love Poveda back, but not silly money. So
yeah,
for me, I think we're not all. I'm not speaking for everyone, but a couple of people have made comment to that we do need the players, but I don't think we want to be financially shafted for it, do we?
You did well, choice of word there. Now, Stevie, what we've done there, we talked about Jan Poveda, and every time you see a picture of Jan Poveda back in the day, like I said back in the day, like 2 years ago, he's surrounded by, when he was like 11, 12, he's playing alongside Sancho and Foden, and he's in that ilk of, that group of Man City players that came up through together and stuff like that. And I think you'd even argue Fazeo Delibashiru came through that as well, which is another kettle of crabs that I don't want to pull out just yet, because that'll just make me angry, because I think that FDB under Rule would have been a monster of a player. But let's where do you sit on Poveda, just to wrap this up?
I think it's the closest we've had to. I know somebody. I think Ashley's just compared him to Bannon. He's the closest we've had to Forestieri in the last 6-7 years.
That's a huge. It's a huge shout.
Prime Forestieri under that first season under Cavallo. That's the sort of level that I think he's at. The player that got people on the edge of their seats. He had a little bit of magic. He was mercurial, if you like. And he's that kind of player. I'd have him back. I think he loves the club. I think he's enjoyed the adulation that he's got from our fan base. It strikes me that he was on the outs at Leeds and, down the pecking order. And it seems to be, obviously I don't know the bloke, it seems to be that he reacts and responds to, the love that he got from the supporters and the fan base. I think I've seen something on Instagram this week that he's put like an owl logo on his bio or something like that. And that's got people talking. In terms of contracts, would I have him back? I was on and talked about it 3-4 weeks ago. I think the way forward now is to potentially look at the Moneyball model. We talked about Brentford doing it in the past. We haven't got it. We haven't quite got it right with Bernard, but we need to fall in love with players and adore them while we've got them, and then if there's a possibility to make the club sustainable, that model going forwards. If we can put him on 2 years and we have him for a season and it gets us in and around the playoffs or higher, or 3 years and we have him for 2 and we can sell him for, 8-10 million, then, and that in my opinion, that's an achievable objective with Jan Paveda. Dan, you've talked about his pedigree and his background. He's come up through the ranks at City. He's played with some decent players. So let's look at it. Let's get him in. Let's see what he's worth. I think it's relatively low stakes. I'm all for it.
Ooh, I tell you what, I didn't expect you to be less pragmatic there, Stevie. I thought you'd be a lot more tight on it. Go on, John.
Like I said, I think we just need that one player that we can sign low and sell high to get like a domino effect and get this thing going, like Stevie's mentioning there. We can just drop on one player, whether it's Paveda or somebody from the German league Danny might have got his eye on, and sign them low but then sell them high. We can just get that kind of Moneyball thing rolling, and it's a starting point for us. And I know it's always rubbish to sell your best players and stuff, but I think Wednesday just need to do good business and just re-establish like how to run a football club and be successful at moving players on and then refreshing and recycling the team, isn't it? So
I tell you what, actually, it is. You can't call it, can you? Because I was looking through some old footage to try and put a video together for our socials, and I was going to do something about Thunder Chuffers for the 30-day challenge that we're going to talk about in a second. And Lucas João scored some absolute monsters before he got sold. Like, he had a hell of a season. I forgot how good a goal is. I forgot how good he was at times. In my head, we'd just got 8 million quid for a big lazy streak of piss, but he was actually. When he turned up, he was absolutely banging. We've had confirmation there from Tony that the owl on Jan Paveda's Instagram was there when he was on loan, so it's not new. We've just found it. Paul Ferrugia says that it reminds me of Terry.
He's not took it off. He's not took it off.
Well, he's not took it down yet. Okay, so it's still there. And Matt Strickland says it's not Moneyball, it's Cake Ball. Now, if honestly, I swear to God, Matt. If this plays out for Sheffield Wednesday and we have an absolute banging season, Moneyball's out the window. I'm going to put that on every social post, #CakeBall. I've already added in UTSW for Up the Shaggy Wendy's, but #CakeBall, Ash, is going to be all over our socials. What do you reckon? Are we having that? If we finish 8th and higher, Cakeball.
Jay Blogs fist bumped with Paveda in Manchester Airport last month. The boy wears plenty of rings.
Well, if someone's hand wear is a sign of whether he's
Mr.
a decent player.
I think we've had this for the first time ever. Someone agreeing with John.
Hey.
Well, just make a note of this. It's 2028 on the 10th of June, and everybody's already started drinking earlier for the Euros. Now, I'm going to go into the last couple of minutes and talk about some players that we've been linked with to get in. Now, this is the reason this episode is called Silly Season is because Paddy Power did a great video about it today. Is when we have, I was going to say like kids come online, look a load of shite out to see who's linked with who and just make up rumours, and then all of a sudden we're buying them. You know what I mean? And then it whips the fans into a frenzy. They monetize their account, and it's usually a lot of people going, "What a lot of old shite? What are you about? That's bloody rubbish." Honestly, someone could say that Lionel Messi is signing for Sheffield Wednesday, and they'd still get 170, 200 comments. You know what I mean? They know exactly what they're doing. And this one's been my favourite of the last week. This one here, Transfers 24/7. Yesterday tweeted that Sheffield Wednesday have bid 4.5 million for Wrexham forward Paul Mullin. That's not happened. That has absolutely never happened in the history of football. Never happened. I don't know what to say about it, Ash.
Anybody who's retweeted this, commented on it or anything just needs to get in the bin. I'm gonna alienate God knows how many people Wednesday fans now. Whatever, come
all
on.
Those comments we've made them 10p.
No, they're not verified, are they? You only get that if you blue tick on. I think
It'll be coming.
But, yeah, come on, Sheffield Wednesday into like 30 anyway. Four and a half million.
With Paul Mullin, before he signed for Wrexham, he was like top scorer in the league, and I want to say it was Cambridge he got promoted with or something like that,
yes.
right? And he scored a hatful. And then he went down to the non-league because obviously Rob and Ryan came in at Wrexham, chucked a load of money at him for that level with their, at the time, TikTok money that they were getting on the front of their shirts, paid him a load of money, and lo and behold, a League One striker has scored a shit ton in the non-league and League Two. You know what I mean? Like, so we've bid £4.5 million for him. This is absolutely insane. Now, if you're listening out there, I want to see how many of you have heard some ridiculous rumours going around on the interwebs. Mad Ward's gone with it's a done deal. Well, of course it is. Of course it is, Ward.
I just £4.5 million, mate. I wonder where they've picked that £4.5 million from. I mean, it could have been like a couple of days earlier that we were linked with a right back at £4.5 million, and they thought, I know, they obviously can afford £4.5 million. I'm going to put that in.
I don't think it's a coincidence that £4.5 million is what got mooted by another bullshit ITK account about how much we were going to pay for Icky Ugbo. So you know what I mean? I feel like someone's gone, who's in demand? How much they got? Who's got a load of ridiculous foaming at the mouth fans that like a kickoff? Bah! Sheffield Wednesday £4.5 million. Paul Mullin. That you can see the bingo in it. You really can. If you go to Liam's comment at the bottom there, Ash. Do you know what? I like this one as a rumour. Both Joe and Alex have spoken about it, Stevie. They've both talked about it. This won't be too shabby, right?
It's in seriousness, this is the kind of business that you want to do, wouldn't you?
$5 million
not sure.
A big price tag, though.
I didn't realise that we were paying money for the guy. I thought he was just available. I honestly thought he was available, and maybe I've got it wrong. It's been a busy week, at Team Spence HQ. But if we're looking at being linked with that kind of player, I wouldn't want to be paying £5 million for a player at the moment. No. I don't think we can afford that. I think we need to be more astute, and I think that if you look at the recruitment, although it was narrow, and we've sort of alluded to this in the past, if you look at the recruitment that Danny Rule's done, he's not brought anyone in, just randoms in. And we mentioned it earlier on. We brought Poveda in 10 to 11, was it, on transfer deadline day, and we'd only done him and Ugbo and Beadle, and we were kind of like, well, this is shit, isn't it? And then it turns out that the keeper's not bad. The goal, the striker that everybody weren't bothered about is an absolute beast when you play him right, and we're lauding Poveda. So if he wants to sign players that he wants to sign, I've got absolute faith in him. There's a rumour that I think we're going to get to in a moment that I don't necessarily agree with, which is why I think it's a rumour. And I'd chuck the Mullen one in the bin for the reasons that we've talked about. But the Valery one, if you look at the socials, the Southampton fans were like, he weren't great, he's not this, he's not that. And that kind of goes back to that sort of point of, people talking about Ugbo and one or two others where, Danny Rule has clearly seen something in this player that he's been strongly linked with. And if he brings him in, I trust him. So, yeah, happy with that.
Tell you what, John, a lot of trust going into Danny, isn't there? I mean, Valery, what is he, 30 now? I think he is. Played for Southampton. He's played.
He's not that old. He's only about 25, mate.
Yeah. He's only 25. Well, in my head, he's 30 or he's a child. That's how footballers work. They're either teenagers or they're approaching retirement. Like everybody was talking about Cameron Dawson being a kid for about 10 years, and then we all realised he was 28. You know what I mean?
There's a man who's played too much Champo in the past, isn't it?
That's it, mate.
That's Wonder kids or players that
that's
that you can't sign, but they're 35 and you're going to sign them. Yeah.
Ash, you and I were 13 when we first bought the first ever incarnation of that game. Are you aware that it's our 30th anniversary last season? Did you know that was our 30th anniversary of playing those ridiculous games? And I still call it attacking midfielder centre. I can't bring myself to say Cam or number 10. What about you, John? Where do you sit on it?
Yeah, I think the point was made about this unbelievable trust we've got right now in Danny in terms of who he wants to target to bring into the squad from going back to when he was playing selecting the players for the games and stuff. Valery's an interesting one because he's like Steve says, he's still quite a young player, versatile, and fits that mould of what I'd expect us to be looking at with like ex-Premier League player. Obviously knows him from his days at Southampton as well. So sometimes those Premier League players that either get released or end up moving on, I've got a bit of a point to prove, and I think coming and playing for somebody like Dan is a big draw, a big pull. Because he's already sort of like like Steve said earlier, Ugbo was not like, he wasn't even getting many games at Cardiff. He wasn't regarded as anything. We all kind of like did the old Alan Partridge gift, didn't we, when we signed Ugbo? Like, was this guy, like, but he's obviously turned him around and it became a pivotal player for us. Pervader as well, when Leeds were interested. I got a Leeds, you've always got a friend who supports a team where you sign a player from, and they always say the same, don't they? He's crap, he's no good, blah blah blah. We had it with Tom Lees from Leeds, didn't we? And I asked a friend about Pervader, and it was all the same stuff. Oh, he's rubbish, he's this, that, and the other. But they've come in and Danny's turned them around, and he's got a tune out, more than a tune out of them. But conversely, then we fight other teams out because we've raised the profile of the player. They're not our player. It's all about falling in love with the lone player. It's a dangerous game, and then you've got other suitors for them. But if Danny thinks Valery is good enough, then why don't he come on over and sign for Sheffield Wednesday?
Hey, there he is. We had to get it in at some point. That was, you know what I mean. That's kind of how it works. And then the last transfer rumor that we've been linked with was this guy. Peter O'Rourke from Football Insider put up that ourselves, Millwall and Swansea are in a race to sign Humphreys from Rotherham. Now, I don't know if you remember Humphreys from Rotherham. He's the one that I referred to on a Rotherham podcast as 2% ludicrous. He's absolutely fucking terrible. Like, I can't stress how much I absolutely identified him as being one of the worst players to play against Sheffield Wednesday last season. The bloke is fatter than Calvin Phillips. Like, he doesn't look like a footballer at all. And he's just been relegated with a whimper. And then if you look at those teams that have been linked, like, you can see the bingo again. Who just avoided relegation? Oh, yeah, that lot. They'll do. Let's get him in. It's just ridiculous. It's just, you can see the thinking that they've come out with to put those in. But it's absolutely trash. Now, at some point coming up, Ash, we've got a multimedia extravaganza coming up. We are going to do the sweepstake draw. What have we got? Rotherham fans love him. Jesus. Oh, he's trash.
Quick one before you move. Quick one before you move on. I've just had a quick scout. I think Valery is still under contract till 2026 in France, so he's not available for now. But
I think that rumour's dead in the water already. We're not spending £4.5 million quid on a right back.
Angers or something like that. Angers.
Yeah.
Okay, me with my knowledge.
Yeah. That's impressive. That Ash. Although
we just on the same Google.
Yeah.
No.
Although Ash and I have been to go and watch second tier French team Chamois Niortais. So, jot that down. Right then. So this week, now back in March, Holly came up with the idea of doing a 30-day challenge. And we said, what we'll do, we'll leave that until the summer and we can get some memories out and see if there's a recency bias and see if we can get people thinking about another period that isn't the Hurst, Sheridan and Waddle era. We've had some great responses through some of the questions. I mean, some of the questions, best goal that you were live for. Today's was the celebrations you've had with your friends. There's been some negative ones in there, like, who made you cry is coming up. And but my favorite one that we've had has come up with some absolute insane opinions. And it was yesterday's, and it was controversial opinion. So what I did, chaps, I've put aside 5 controversial opinions that the Sheffield Wednesday faithful have put onto our socials this week.
Ooh.
And I wanted you to I wanted you to discuss. So this one was quite a popular one. So, John, I'll come to you on this one. So this one's a popular one because me personally, I can't stand either of them. I think they're both terrible. But this one was the first one. Matt went with, I actually like the new badge rather than the old one. which like, we had a question that was biggest downgrade, and this was one of our biggest comments that we got. Where do you stand on Badgegate?
Oof, that's a tough one because the new badge is really an old badge with a slight revamp, isn't it?
Isn't it?
So the stylized owl came in around the early 80s, I think, or late 70s, something around that era. And it was, it stayed with us for certainly my childhood. That's the badge I knew growing up is the stylized owl, and I was always desperate to claim it on the Panini stickers when you used to buy them with your pocket money, and I'd be desperate to get all the Wednesday players. But in particular, I wanted the shiny Wednesday owl badge. I was desperate for it, and so I love that badge. I do prefer it to the old one, but you know, there's bigger things wrong with Sheffield Wednesday than the badge right now, isn't there? So,
but that's why it's a controversial opinion, isn't it?
Yeah,
right?
But yeah, I definitely prefer these stylized owl by far. Yeah, I love that back, but you know, I think it's gone.
Ash, you're a miserable bastard. Go on. Where do you see it?
All
right, yeah, I thought you might say that.
Would it make you support them even less?
No, I honestly don't give a shit. But I tell you what it is, the Club 1867 and all these anti-Chancery accounts always tend to use, and he's changed the crest as like a sign-off, as like a punchline at the end. And I'm kind of like, I don't really give a shit. And I don't know if anybody actually knows, but it was kind of Arsenal that started it all when they changed their badge from that beautiful badge that they used to have to that stylized one. And the reason is it's a copyright thing. It helps them protect their image across various mediums. So, for example, if we started using any Sheffield Wednesday badge now, because it's been copyrighted, as it were, now we can't. There was when we first changed the badge, there was that I want to say pool hall in Sheffield that used to have the logo outside, and as soon as we copyrighted, we couldn't have it. It actually generates money for the club, and we can sell the rights to it to companies like the Terrace Life for redoing it. And that's why it happens, and that's why you see so many clubs changing their crest. Thought I'd get that one in. Right, Stevie, next one's for you. I haven't labelled these, so I don't know what they are. So this one's coming to you. Is this a controversial opinion for yourself? This is from Lee Clark, and it says, appointing Chisco was not a stupid idea, but will turn out to be the most important appointment in Wednesday's history, as it will make Chancellor appreciate and back the manager we have now and realise that he needs input from other people who understand football. Is that a controversial opinion? Chisco was an appointment we needed to make.
I understand the
sound logic. I can't argue with that.
I understand the sentiment of the comment and the opinion, and in that context, I can't disagree with it. But we are going forwards. It's almost forward thinking and foresight, with the benefit of foresight. If this time next year or at the end of Danny Rule's tenure, we can look back and say, Chancellor has backed the manager. We've managed to do this in terms of the transfers. We've done this in terms of the infrastructure. We've done this in terms of the stadium, the playing facilities, the training ground, and everything else. Then absolutely. And the only people that will know that whether or not that is actually the case will be Chancellor, the manager, and that's probably it, because there's nobody else behind the scenes that's doing that, really, is there? So in an ideal world, this will come to pass to be one of the more controversial opinions.
I think the phrase there, the phrase there, it's an important appointment, doesn't say that it was a good one. I feel like it's important. What's that comment there, Ash, from Anthony Beale? As the comment came up and as the controversial opinion came up, Anthony Beale has gone with rhubarb. So that's nice, isn't it? Ash, this one's
there's many more words he could have used, and I think he's done well there, really.
He's done well getting past the filter, if I'm honest, Ash. He's done really well.
I mean,
is anybody else wanting to chime in on some of these topics?
Yeah, I'm just going to say, I don't know if there was a method in the madness there, with that, in the way he describes that, appointing Cisco and then obviously coming across Rule, because, controversial chairman. Remember Cardiff City had, he's probably still there, Vincent Tan. He changed everything about that club, didn't he, in the short space of time.
And then got arrested.
The badge, he got changed the colours. The fans were in absolute uproar. And then he drops on, it's Solskjaer that took him, but he drops on a manager and they get promoted. And it's like, it's luck, isn't it, as much as anything? We've just been damn lucky, and about time we had some. We've just dropped on a really good manager. And
we have, but just if you put that comment back up there that said about Josh Lukai, Ash. So we had a comment here saying, by that logic, Josh Lukai was a necessary evil too. I don't think that's the case, because Josh Lukai was not followed by Danny Rule. And I think the original comment sort of said it kind of shone a light on how good Rule is and how to back the manager. What else we got there, Ash?
So Bobby Chow has put, no manager was surviving post Darren Moore. If Danny had been appointed, the results would have been much different.
That's a big shout. Right.
Paul Faruga. That's like saying we.
Whoa. We can't just gloss over. Go back to that comment.
I thought you were going to kick off about the Hitler comment.
Which one?
Go
on. Steve is incensed, ladies and gentlemen.
No manager is surviving post Darren Moore. If Danny Rule had been appointed instead of Cisco, the results wouldn't have been much different. You don't know, you don't know.
How on earth are people not even acknowledging the fact that that's the most nonsensical thing I've ever heard in my life?
And that's why these are controversial opinions. That's, you know what I mean? That's
I don't know Bobby Chow, and I don't know if he's drunk or not, but you're not telling me that the way that we have changed the club and the infrastructure and everything that's going on, he'd have come in and you look at the way that we started at Watford, you look at everything else. My goodness me.
The original thing, Stevie, was that might not have happened. It happened because we had Cisco.
But he's saying here, if Danny Rule had been appointed after Darren Moore, things wouldn't have changed. No, I'm not having that. Not having it. Sorry.
He's not having it. Stevie's not having it. Stevie's incensed live on the interwebs. Ash, I'm coming to you because I know we've got about 2 or 3 minutes left here. I'm coming to you on this one. North York's Owls lost his bloody mind here, so he went with the word massive makes a shit itch. We're all Wednesday, aren't we? No, we're not. Stadium, we need to move. Let's start on that one, Ash. Stadium, we need to move because I would happily move into a city centre stadium tomorrow.
So you want me to answer all these ones, yeah?
No, let's just go with the stadium one for God's sake.
I'll do a quick one.
Go on.
Massive, yeah, makes my shit itch as well. I hate it that all new players have to get it into their first interview. We're all Wednesday, aren't we? I love the phrase, but he's right. We're not. We've seen it many a time. Stadium, love the old girl, but yeah, we need to move. Calling the club my first love, yeah, that's a load of bollocks. Blades are number 3 on my dislike list. I've got a lot more dislikes. If it's just football, then maybe, but I've got a lot more than the Blades. And he prefers the current badge over the one we've just seen. So, yeah, that's mine. Stadium, yeah, we need to move.
Yeah, it's old, isn't it? It's old. There's a lot happening there. But I've just realised the time and I've just realised how long this is going to take. Let's go to the interwebs and see what controversial opinion pieces. The opinion on the controversial opinion has come through, Smash. What have we got before we move on?
Matt has just spat my tea out. It was an abysmal appointment. Excuse me, not the only one over the years, though. And then he followed that up with just spat my tea out at Bobby's comment as well.
Just tea everywhere.
But Bobby has come back. He has highlighted a couple of things. No pre-season, unfit team, brutal fixtures, late signings are all adding to the... Yeah. He'd
have figured it out because he's took that team on, and I know we're pressed for time, so I'm not going to keep going. I was at Watford, and the change from whatever game it was it West Brom that he got sacked at? I keep going back, I can't remember, forgive me. The first game that Rule went in, he's turned that team around, and you could see the change within 3-4 days. He would have got a pre-season after Moore. It might have been a couple of weeks late. I'm not saying that it would have been we'd have got playoffs or anything like that. We wouldn't have been in the same situation.
God almighty, I just had a look at the comment section and everybody's angry. Okay, so listen, what we're going to do the draw for the sweepstake. Now, Ash, do you want to tell us all about it before I put your fancy graphic up? This is exciting, ladies and gents. There's a lot happening. You'll notice there's been a lot of movement in terms of graphics and output and stuff that we've done this summer. There's a lot going on. And what you're about to witness, Ash has spent minutes doing this. It's absolutely top end. Tell us about the sweepstakes, Mash. What's up for grabs?
Yeah, so this one is all Stevie's job, this is. But he came up with the idea. Obviously, we're a bit light of stuff and entertainment to do over the summer. And to raise a couple of quid, and it is only a couple of quid, this one. Most of this is going to people who have paid and to take part, is a sweepstake for the Euros. So basically... 24 people messaged us and they've donated their hard-earned cash to take part in our Euro sweepstake. And tonight, those lucky people, which there are a couple in the chat that's on, I can see, are going to find out if they're going to get Georgia or England or Turkey or whoever in the TWW sweepstake.
Lovely stuff. Just while we've got a quick question there, Ash, is that a proper shirt or a DH Wonder? It's a DH Gate Wonder, lads. I'm not paying 85 quid. You're off your tits. Right then, Ash, do you want me to put up the graphic? Shall I put up the graphic?
Yes.
We've got a drum roll.
Mate,
Maybe.
brace your bloody self. Ash has lost his actual mind doing this. It's impressive. Now, also, Ash, as you call this out, I've got the odds ready as well in terms of what we've got. So there it is. There's the graphic. We've got two wheels there. We've got on the left-hand side, as I'm looking at it, is the teams, and on the right-hand side are the people that paid their entry fee. I'm afraid that it's all filled. All the spaces are filled. I'm afraid we had a comment there asking if they can join in, but Ash managed to fill this up within a day. So Ash, if you this is the best bit. Can you please randomize the teams?
So randomize the team. So press this here, and there we go. So they're randomized, and I'll do the people as well. So there we are. They're all randomized. Right? Are you ready for this?
Let's do it, Ash.
Are you ready? Start the spin. So German Al has got Romania.
And that's Romania coming in at 200 to 1.
Oh, wow. Been better putting a fiver on that.
Isn't it? Let's go again, Ash. Let's go again.
Are you ready? Portugal for Chris Dell, lads. Chris Dell's got Portugal.
Portugal are coming in at 7 to 1.
We've got to explain what's going on, because this on a playback on a podcast is going to be brilliant.
We've got a couple of little wheels spinning and picking everyone's team. So I'm just going to keep going.
That's what the little music is. France is coming in. Chris Wilde has got France.
He's
France
going to be
coming in at 4 to 1. So Netherlands next up. Netherlands are 16 to 1, and that's Tommy off Twitter.
Tommy's on as well. I've seen him commented about your shirt. I think it was Tommy.
Lovely stuff. Next team up is Germany, the home favourites, and that's Sharpie coming in at 11 to 2.
Chris Wilde's in the comments. He's buzzing.
Yeah, Chris Wilde's not unhappy, is he? Georgia, out there in Philadelphia, Jeff Hatcher has managed to score himself Georgia, and they're coming in at 500 to 1.
Oh, there we
England, go. Oh, Mandy, you came and you gave without taking. 7 to 2 favourites. England on bet 365. Is that the top 4 teams gone? What we got? Italy and Belgium are probably the big ones coming in. Slovakia coming in. You don't want your name, Nathan Blood. I don't know if that's your surname or you're saying it the way that gangsters say it, but Nathan Blood has got himself. What team was that? I missed it. Czech Republic was Mark Richards. Czech Republic coming in at 150 to 1. Ukraine. 100 to 1, Rich Hargreaves. So the Ukraine there still managing to play football, and fair play to them getting a team out.
I tell you what, I do surprise myself sometimes. I've got to say.
I'm really enjoying this. If you're not watching this, go back on YouTube and have a watch. Austria coming in, and Austria at Callum H67 on the Twitterlings, 80 to 1. Could turn up and do a Greece. You never know. What's that? Is that Hungary and Laura McCarthy? Hungary turning up. This is tournament football, 80 to 1. Could win
the Eurovision
tournament on penalties. I just nearly did a Graham Norton accent then, but I thought, no, I can't deal with the internet backlash. The Turkish lads, Bisto SWFC. What a great Twitter name that is, by the way. Turkey are coming in at 50s. Go on, Ash.
There is some great Twitter names where people have put in for it. It's great.
Yeah. Croatia, bloody Croatia. Tom Chittenden has gone for Croatia. They're coming in at they're quite high up, 40 to 1. Easily could do some cash. The Spanish, not as great as they used to be, but still up there at 15 to 2. That's Jabo321 off the Twitters. Keep going, Ash. Keep
Happy
going,
with
Ash.
that one.
Right, Slovenia. Slovenia are coming in at 250 to 1, and that's Debbie Hawkins. Now, Smash, just close that. Let's have a quick look at who's remaining. We've got Poland, Serbia, Albania, Switzerland, Denmark, Italy, Scotland, Belgium.
All the heavy hitters.
All
Italy
the
and
heavy
Belgium.
hitters.
You're looking for that, aren't you?
Italy and Belgium are the highest end ones. So what's Matt said there? Forget talking about Wednesday. Let's just have an hour bop into this every week. I tell you what, we need to just try and introduce a draw every week to Summit Cash. Now we've got this software. Here we go.
Ooh.
Belgium, it's a big one. Belgium are coming in at 16 to 1, and that's Andy Bauer who's managed to get Belgium. Italy still one of the big teams. Denmark and Switzerland are no pushovers either. You know, Serbia can absolutely mix it with the best. Ash, let's keep going, son. Let's keep doing it. One.
A cracking kit, the Belgian one, based on Tintin. Great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think you
Amazing.
could say it's Fabrique and Belgique. Right, Italy,
Yeah,
here we go. The remaining 14 to 1. Ben Howe, Italy is what we've got remaining there. This is absolutely nail-biting stuff. Serbia, formerly of Serbia and Montenegro, now just Serbia. Sarah B for Serbia. Sarah B, you are coming in at 80 to 1. Remaining is Switzerland. John Duncan with the Swiss. Again, could do it. Could do a Greece. Could do a Greece. It's Scotland time. Who's picked up the sweaty socks? It's Strip Matt off Twitter. 100 to 1
Oh, that's
favourites.
Denmark, mate.
What? Wait. Oh, he said Denmark.
He
Sorry,
landed on
Yeah,
Denmark.
Matt Gittins there.
Oh shit. Sorry. Denmark. 40 to 1. The Strip Matt. I got ahead of the graphic there, didn't I? Right then, coming up next, we've got Albania, and that is Matt, I believe, who's sat watching now with the Albanians. They are the least fancied team of the entire tournament at 500 to 1. Scotland is coming in, and Andy McKellen, Scotland, who's been on the show before. Andy's drawn the Scotch, which means, and just spin it, Ash, the Polish 150 to 1 is going to Artemis 1984. I hope you all enjoyed that, and I hope you all enjoyed the graphic. Ash, thank you so much for putting that together. Can you see all the... have we got a list of who's got what that we can put up like they do on Eurovision if you scroll that down? Or have all your things gone missing?
No, don't show it all, but we can...
Well, you can't do them out, but we'll put up a fancy graphic for the socials when they get put out.
This is award-winning stuff, Dan, that. I'm telling you, award-winning
Tell
stuff.
you what, I am absolutely... champing at the bit to get rid of Ryland and then put Dan Fudge in charge at Eurovision. Can you imagine that? It's just me sat there going, what's this? Where's the saxophone guy? Bring back Bucks Fizz. What's going on?
Like Terry Wogan.
Where's Sonia? Where's Sonia? Bet the devil you know. Come on now. Right then. So, Ash, that was absolutely outstanding. Now, does anybody have any other business? Ash, you want to talk about the awards, and then we'll come to you, John.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. So you've seen on our social medias, we've put it out. We'd really appreciate you if you like award-winning graphics and content and things that we hope award-winning anyway. So we've registered for the FCAs, which is the Football Content Awards. We really appreciate it. Spend 3 or 4 minutes just registering and filling out a form, and obviously putting our name down. We love what we do. Really privileged to do it, and we've had an amazing season. All the stuff we've done on and off the pod, it's been great. So we would really appreciate it, and it's just to get us name out there a bit more, and for that would be getting more money in that we're going to spend on you guys, and all the free stuff, with tickets and being able to get to people that can't come to Hillsborough because of the sky high ticket prices and stuff, that we're going to try and help. And thank you very much. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, if you could go as far as mention Ash's charitable bits, especially,
No doubt.
and I can't tell you how much. Like I've mentioned a few times, I've known Ash a number of years, and him getting up on stage to receive an award is right out of his comfort zone. So if you could just specifically mention Ash, that would really make my day. John, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I did. I just wanted to say, if you've not seen the news, I think we're all, Alan Hansen, is not very well. He's seriously ill in hospital, and I think, certainly this panel will probably have grown up watching him on Match of the Day. He was like one of the original pundits, wasn't he? So I'm just sending best wishes and hope that he can pull through and get back to full health.
Much appreciated, John, and I completely echo what you're saying there. He was a bit of a voice of a generation. Ladies and gents, thanks a lot for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to leave you with this, and we'll put you a little graphic up in a bit. See you later.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday week, bringing you football analysis.
He came in. I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
Met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live.
I normally just turn up and phone it in.
I'm a little bit older than you.
Like,
That zero's gone, that goose egg's gone.
Also featuring player interviews.
It's Mr. Lee Bullen, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. John Harps, ladies and gentlemen. It's Captain Fantastic once again. It's Mr. Glenn Lubens.
Oh, it's Mr. David Stockdale joining us this evening.
It's Mr. Lloyd Owusu, ladies and gentlemen. He's joining us live on the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Carlton Palmer. How's it going, CP? You all right?
Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there, podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday Week 24-25 season. Join us next season.
Put on your